So one of the major plays for my military brothers and sisters that have been coming to the city of Killeen using their VA loan to buy a property with zero money down. And then whenever they get stationed to somewhere else, instead of doing a traditional rental, they will Airbnb the property. And over the years, they have seen really, really good profits. Now, I think we all know that that slowed down over the past year or so. It slowed down drastically, but there are some people that are still doing really, really good. On one side, have a long-term tenant for that stability. And then on the other side, they use short-term rental so that they can cash flow big on the months when people are kind of coming in and out. And I've seen people net over 3 times the amount of what a normal lease might be using those short-term rentals. Well, that party is slowly coming to an end, and here's why. The city of Killeen has instituted new short-term rental regulations, and essentially it's a way for the city to make more money off of the people that are doing short-term rentals right now. I think we are a very strong market for short-term rentals because of the military base and also some of the hospitals here. And some of my clients do really, really good with their Airbnbs, but they are pretty ticked off to see these new regulations. And essentially, like, it's a new tax. It's just going to take some money. So profits are not going to look the way that they used to. So we're going to go over those just so you have the information. And I'm going to be like reading because I want to make sure that I get a lot of this right. So for my people that already own Airbnbs in the Killeen market, you're going to want to stick around because this applies to you. And if you are thinking about getting an Airbnb in Killeen, you're going to want to check this out because you're going to need to add this in to your monetary plans. So let's just get into it. So they say that these new requirements are there to ensure safety, compliance, and promote local tourism. But honestly, it just seems like a way for the city to make a little bit more money. So first of all, you have to get a permit. As of October the 1st, short-term rental owners in Killeen must obtain an annual permit for each short-term rental property, and the permit fee is $50 a year. On your application, you have to have your proof of ownership. You need to have the floor plan, which is kind of weird to me. And you'll need to have a parking plan, which I guess is pretty simple if you just have a parking lot in front of the house. If you need help with the floor plan, us real estate agents have an app on our phone where we can walk through the house with our phone and it will give us a rendering of the floor plan. So reach out to me or any other real estate agent. I'm sure they'll charge you like a really small fee to just go in and do that for you. So I think it's kind of a dumb thing, but it might be a headache for you to try to do and access yourself. So reach out to an agent. We have the ability to do that for you and just kind of get that off of your plate. So also, my short-term rental owners, you are going to have to collect and remit a hotel occupancy tax. And that total tax amount is 15%. That bites. That stings. Okay. Jesus Christ. So 6% is going to the state of Texas and 9% is going to the city of Killeen. So if you go to bnbcalculator.com, then you should be able to kind of do the maths on what that actually looks like for you. But essentially, the city's taking away 15% of your profit. And that sucks, man. That sucks. So they said platforms like Airbnb and Vrbo, like they will typically already take a portion of that hotel occupancy tax, but the owners are responsible for the city and county portions. So Airbnb will take it out for the state, but for the city and county, you're going to have to make sure that you do that on your own. Just seems like an additional pain in the butt, but I mean, rules is rules. So the registration process is pretty straightforward. They have a website and I've linked that down in the description. You can go to the city's official website to register. They said they will waive fees for anybody who has registered before May the 1st of 2024, which has already passed at the time of shooting this video. So if you have yet to register, you will be charged that fee. And just go down to my link in the description, or it's a Killeen, I think it's killeen.gov/STR, if I'm not mistaken. But the city has a website for you to register on. Should be a super simple process for you. Just go directly there and not anywhere else. Don't let anybody charge you to register your Airbnb. You can do it yourself, and it's just a $50 permit fee. So let's talk about spacing and zoning. The city is proposing to put in a spacing requirement of 200 feet between Airbnbs, short-term rentals, whatever, so that there is not just one area of the city that has a super high concentration. And of course, you have to comply with whatever the local zoning laws are. But I think that is, I don't know, it seems a little ridiculous. Like if your neighbor has a short-term rental and it's within 200 feet of you, then you essentially can't. And like you're limited now and they're just grandfathered in. I don't like it. I don't know if that's actually all the way on the books now. I think that might just be a proposed regulation. But I don't know. It just seems like a bit too much. Like 200 feet between Airbnbs. One, that's not that big. It just kind of means like every other house can be an Airbnb, which still doesn't prevent a concentrated area of Airbnbs. But it's like two neighbors can't have short-term rentals. And whoever got it first, like you win. And that's kind of stupid. I don't love that. All right, so let's talk compliance and enforcement. The city is going to be putting together a compliance and enforcement team to make sure that everybody is on the up and up. And here's the kicker. Violations can fetch fees of up to $2,000 per violation per day. That'll put you out of business. Jeez Louise. That would stop me from violating. $2,000 per violation per day. Oh, to the city. It's like there's no getting around that. So that's huge. So you can go to KilleenTexas.gov to get more information on all of this short-term rental stuff. But I think it sucks. A lot of the people I know who own short-term rentals, they've already sold them off whenever they knew that this new regulation was going into effect. And that really just dips into the pockets of entrepreneurs. And I'm very torn on this issue because I am a supporter of entrepreneurs, but I am also a big believer that houses are shelter. They should be for people who need places to live, but also like short-term occupancy is a huge need. And there are people who moved here, bought their property with their VA loan. They don't have a ton of equity. And so selling it really just isn't the best play for them financially. Well, now they have to get a long-term tenant because of these regulations, because their neighbor has an Airbnb, and now I can't maximize the amount of profit that I could make for my property that I own and paid for, bought for. Like, I don't know. I don't love it. I don't love it. I'm a little bit torn on this. I have mixed feelings, but hopefully it will, maybe if it cuts down on the number of Airbnbs that there are available, it can increase the profit margins for the ones that do stick around so that that 15% tax doesn't just like completely decimate them. But I guess like if a 15% tax decimates your business, then you're probably already operating on super slim margins and like maybe you should close up shop. But like also if I'm making 15%, like that's profit. So, and I don't want you to take that. So I don't love it. All my Airbnb people, drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think about this new proposed regulation. So question of the day, how do you feel about these new laws that got put in place for short-term rental owners? Are you happy about it because you're tired of the house next door having people in and out and you never knowing who is going to be occupying that space? Or are you ticked off because they're going to take your money away that you rightfully earned, you know? So I would love to hear from you. Drop it in the comments below.